The other dominant figure in Beethoven's early upbringing was his mother, Maria. She had no music in her blood that we know of, but she was a powerful influence in other ways. From his mother, Beethoven inherited a number of character traits that we'll encounter repeatedly throughout his story. She was a good, kindly, pious woman who set a strong moral line, who knew how to handle a husband who drank and gave her a lot to put up with. She knew how to endure. Maria managed the often precarious family finances and kept the household together, though it seems that house-proud isn't a term that could have been applied to her. She also had a bit of a temper. It must have been a bewildering, fiery kind of household for a child to cope with. Ludwig's father was also an explosive character, with what I guess we'd now call anger management issues. It may be that Johann detected a spark of unusual musicality in his son early on, or perhaps he just decided that his son would be a chip off the old block, a musician like him who would go on to serve at the court in Bonn just as he and his father before him had done. He began to teach Ludwig what he knew about music at the age of 4 or 5, with a heavy hand beating the music into the little boy, beginning with the keyboard. Under his father's rigorous regime, which often reduced him to tears, Beethoven progressed quickly. By the age of 7, his playing delighted the court, and he made his public debut at that age in a concert organised by his father on the 26th of March, 1778. It wasn't long before he was helping out with official duties at court too. As an 11-year-old, he was already regularly deputising for the court organist and playing for services in the royal chapel. Beethoven was born into a world bound by tradition and hierarchies. In Bonn, a member of the imperial and royal family was in charge in the person of Maximilian Franz, the Elector. As Prince Archbishop of Cologne, he was one of the 3 spiritual electors, along with 4 secular ones, who could elect the Holy Roman Emperor, who ruled whole swathes of Central and Western Europe from his seat in Vienna. Presiding in his grand electoral residence, surrounded by elaborate formal gardens in the French style, Maximilian Franz was an all-powerful figure to his 12,000 subjects. As another Prince-Bishop remarked to his people, "The commanding will of His Majesty is none other than the commanding will of God Himself." In the hierarchy of the court, musicians like Beethoven's father were mere servants, and their pay was low. The Beethovens were housed not in the main palace, but in humble rented lodgings. At the start of 1784, not long after Ludwig's 13th birthday, there was a terrible flood in Bonn when the Rhine overflowed its banks, as it still regularly does. The family was then living in the Rheingasse, which, as the name suggests, was close to the river. Beethoven's mother tried to calm the neighbours and reassure them, but in the end they all had to flee using ladders and boards. The Beethoven clan seems to have moved temporarily to a better area of the city and eventually returned to the house in the Rheingasse. But the family's constant music-making evidently got on the nerves of the neighbours and the landlord, the baker Theodor Fischer, and they were forced to move elsewhere, back to the flat in the Wenzelgasse, where they decamped after the flood. There's an image of Beethoven, the young courtier, now in the Beethoven house in Bonn, a silhouette made of him at the age of 16, with his pert nose and curled-up eyelash. His hair is tied back in a pigtail, and the artist who made the silhouette, a local man by the name of Joseph Neessen, has gone to town on the delicate lace of his shirt front. About the time that image was made, Beethoven was being kept very busy at court, playing keyboard in the chapel and in the theatre, where he played in the court orchestra, probably on viola. Beyond that, we know he was giving...
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.